Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Bharavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Nandar Agom Hikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Andani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chite Te Koriya Kya Adana Koriyo Mane Acha Adana Koriyo Mane Acha Sri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Sri Guru Charane Rati Aise Uttama Gati Ye prasade pure sarva acha Ye prasade pure sarva acha Sakudalo dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se Sakudalo dilo ye janme janme Prabhu se Divya Gyani de Prakatito Divya Gyani de Prakatito Prema Bhaktiya Vaite Abhija Vinasayate Prema Bhaktiya Vaite Abhija Vinasayate Vede Gaya Racharito Vede Gaya Racharito Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamajanara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamajanara Bandhu Lokanath Loke Rajivana Lokanath Loke Rajivana Ha Prabhu Kara Jaya Jamare Padachaya Ha Prabhu Kara Jaya Jamare Padachaya Ebeya Susuche Bhuvana Ebeya Susuche Bhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivasesha Sanyavadi Hatachari Satarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha, Kalachandri Radha, Kalachandri Radhe. Jaya Radha, Govinda Radha, Govinda Radhe. Govinda. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Gaura, Gaura. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo bolo. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Oh, Premanandi, Hari Hari Bo. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Puravikacharya, Satura Sata Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Puravikacharya, Satura Sata Sri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shri Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dhama Ki Jai. Jamuna Maya Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai. Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Yuga Dharma Hari Nam Sankirtan Yogya Ki Jai, Priya Mardanga Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai, Go Premanandi, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Hare Krishna. Welcome to the daily morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotra Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We are continuing with a reading of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, titled Punishment and Reward of Kali. And we are on text 39 today. Please repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. And this is today's verse, text 39. Punascha yachamanaya jatarupam adat prabhu tato nritham madham kamam rajo vairam cha panchamam. Punascha yachamanaya jatarupam adat prabhu tato nritham madham kamam rajo vairam cha panchamam. Punascha yachamanaya jatarupam adat prabhu tato nritham madham kamam rajo vairam cha panchamam. Would you like to chant? Punascha yachamanaya jatarupam adat prabhu tato nritam madham kamam rajo vairam cha panchamam. Thank you. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The word for word translation. Punaha, again. Cha, also. Yachamanaya, to the beggar. Jata rupam, gold. Adat, gave away. Prabhu, the king. Tataha, whereby. Anritam, falsehood. Madam, intoxication. Kamam, lust. Rajaha, on account of a passionate mood. Vairam, enmity. Cha, also. Panchamam, the fifth one. Translation. The personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold, because wherever there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. Please repeat. The personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold, because wherever there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. Purport. Although Maharaj Parikshit gave Kali permission to live in 4 places, it was very difficult for him to find the places, because during the reign of Maharaj Parikshit, there were no such places. Therefore, Kali asked the king to give him something practical which could be utilized for his nefarious purposes. Maharaj Parikshit thus gave him permission to live in a place where there is gold, because wherever there is gold, there are all the above mentioned 4 things, and over and above them, there is enmity also. So the personality of Kali became gold standardized. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, gold encourages falsity, intoxication, prostitution, envy, and enmity. Even a gold standard exchange and currency is bad. Gold standard currency is based on falsehood because the currency is not on a par with the reserve gold. The basic principle is falsity because currency notes are issued in value beyond that of the actual reserved gold. This artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution of the state economy. The price of commodities becomes artificially inflated because of bad money or artificial currency notes. Bad money drives away good money. Instead of paper currency, actual gold coins should be used for exchange, and this will stop prostitution of gold. Gold ornaments for women may be allowed by control, not by quality but by quantity. This will discourage lust, envy, and enmity. When there is actual gold currency in the form of coins, the influence of gold in producing falsity, prostitution, etc., will automatically cease. There will be no need of an anti-corruption ministry for another term of prostitution and falsity of purpose. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuronmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे Okay. So this is a continuation of what Parikshit Maharaj has been saying to Kali. Kali was harming the bull and the cow, and then Maharaj Parikshit basically said, I'm going to kill you. And then Kali surrendered to Parikshit Maharaj and then asked him for a few places where he can actually live in his kingdom. And in the previous verse, Maharaj Parikshit actually gave him 4 places where he could actually reside. The place where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter take place, which is the 4 opposite qualities of the legs on which Dharma stands. Right? So the bull, which is the personification of Dharma, has already lost its 3 legs. It's hobbling on 1 leg, the Srimad Bhagavatam says. And the 4 legs of Dharma are honesty, then austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. These are the 4 legs on which Dharma actually stands. And then 3 of them are gone. Only truthfulness is barely there. It's hobbling on that 1 leg. So Maharaj Parikshit gave him the exact opposite. Right? If you gamble, you're going to lose your sense of honesty. So these 4 places that Maharaj Parikshit gave Kali were the exact places where adharma takes place, the opposite of dharma takes place. But it was kind of cheating by Parikshit Maharaj, because during the reign of Parikshit Maharaj, there were no place like that. There was no place where people would gamble, people would get intoxicated, people would perform illicit sex. So then Kali came back and asked, you've given me 4 places, but there is no such place in your kingdom, so where am I to be? So give me one other place where I can be. So then Maharaj Parikshit gave Kali a place to live in this verse. Right? The 5th place that he gave was where gold was present. And the verse says that wherever there is gold, there is falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. The 4 of the above qualities that we spoke about before are present where gold is there, and there is one extra added feature, which is enmity also, is also present. And Prabhupada talks about the way economy is run. Right? Previously, we had mostly a barter system. Before the age of industrialization, right, about 150 years, 200 years back, people would trade their commodities. So I was growing grains, then somebody else would have the skill of carpentry or building nice houses. Hey, build me some place to live, and I can give you a few bags of grains. This is how things were being transacted. Then we had the industrial age, where we had something called the gold standard. Right? So people would even exchange gold before, right? Like, I'll give you a few coins of gold and you come and do me this. There was actual value in it, because gold is a very scarce commodity, right? It's basically metal, like copper or bronze or anything else, but it has so much value because it's a very scarce commodity. They say that in the total gold reserves that we might have would fill 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools, something like that. So it's not much, the total quantity of gold that we have in the right now. So, but then the governments changed this, right? That it's the same gold, but we are not going to give it to you. We're going to put it in a nice big reserve. We're going to lock it nicely, but instead we're going to give you paper that when you exchange it would actually have the value of gold. Say, I have so much gold reserves in my country, and then I'm going to split it evenly among currencies. Then when I give you $1, it is equivalent to that amount of gold that we have in the reserve. That's how it started, at least. And then Prabhupada says how it changed, right? Because wherever there is gold, again, we have these qualities. And the first quality is falsity. Truthfulness starts fading away because there is greed, lots of greed. We want more and more and more. So already we have diluted gold into paper. It's already a form of falsity, right? It's not actually gold. And now we have, just because it is paper, you've starting to print so much of it. So much more than the actual gold reserve that you might actually have. Right? In the 70s, most of the countries actually decoupled their economy from the actual gold reserves that they had. I remember in India, there was a big crisis during Indira Gandhi's reign. The total currencies that we could not print any more currency because that's only the gold reserve we had. I think we had to pledge something to the World Bank or something like that. People were giving away their gold. But in 70s, I think Nixon or somebody here, they decoupled in America the currency and the gold. So now we print so much money, but the money has very less value. This has been so much inflated, right? Prabhupada, in one of his morning walks, talks about this, about gold standardization, where he gives the example of his father, Gaur Mohan De, where his monthly salary would be 300 rupees. And he could buy everything that he wanted with 300 rupees, because at that point, it had so much value. Although it was still paper, it was linked to something that was really valuable. And then Prabhupada says, in the 70s, right? Now if I have to do the same thing, I need like 9,000 rupees or something. The 300 rupees had inflated so much to 9,000 rupees. The value of money had decreased so much because of this falsity. The government started printing more notes. It's just paper now. And I can print how much ever paper I want. This is the case with America every single year, right? They increase the debt ceiling. The government owes so much, but then I'm going to just print more money so that I can keep increasing my debt ceiling. And practically the money doesn't have any value now. And that's why Prabhupada says this is an artificial inflation of the currencies, right? And he goes as far as to say that this is prostitution of the state economy. We're exploiting the state economy so much because we don't have Kshatriyas like Parikshit Maharaj, where when Parikshit Maharaj was there, there was proper administration. But now, the quality of truthfulness is gone, and then everybody is trying to see what I can do for myself, right? This is the words, aham Ishwara, aham bhogi. This is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that everybody is thinking, how much do I have now? How much I can make more in the future? And then how much I can enjoy? And then how much I can actually, I mean, if somebody else has more, the people go as far as to kill that person. There is this huge envy that is present. Practically gold in our times that we live in is money, right? It's the same. It's the economy that we are talking about. And when we have more money, we have lots of avenues to participate in these four irreligious principles of gambling, of intoxication, where as far as the government has gone as far as to itself be involved in these activities. What to speak of restricting people from getting involved in these activities. And yesterday we spoke about how Prabhupada gave several pointers on how a government can be run. Right? He was giving how you need to have 2 days of compulsory fasting, a government mandated fasting, or so on and so forth, which is very difficult in the times that we live in to actually mandate, the government being mandated, because this is a result of the Church of England, right? This is how the American Constitution was created. So they were all under the government of the Queen. and where the church and the government were tightly coupled. And so they saw corruption, so much corruption that was happening as a result of it, that the founding fathers actually separated church and the state, separation of church and religion and state, and wrote it in the constitution, which is fine. But the government at least has to recognize, Prabhupada says, where religion is taught properly or where religion is not taught properly. That is still the responsibility of the government. But now the government stays so far apart that anybody can do anything. And finally, after somebody does anything, the government will intervene, like the Kool-Aid man, right? These were ridiculous cults that were forming in the 70s. The government was so aloof that he gave poison to everybody, thinking they would go to heaven or something, and everybody died drinking the Kool-Aid. So this is still the responsibility of the government, but now we've evolved into such a state where it's completely decoupled. The government has no sense of dharma, of proper religion. And again, it is a result of democracy, right? Prabhupada talks about how democracy is like a bunch of fools electing another fool. So there is, it's bound to happen. Every now and again, we'll have somebody who is completely unqualified to occupy the position, because the motive of it is, how can I exploit things? This is the prostitution of the economy, right? How can I exploit things for my own favor? This is what is happening. But it is still possible to do something in the times that we live in, because it could not be like a government mandated thing, but I used to live before moving to Dallas in Utah, in Salt Lake City. And the Salt Lake City was like the Vatican of the Mormons. They are a separate denomination of Christianity. And they have their temple there, the biggest temple there. Everybody comes in there, like that. So it's still in America. The church and the state are still decoupled. But there are so many Mormons in that state that practically the church dictates what anybody can do. Because people are following, they basically follow all the regulative principles except for meat eating. And even there in the Book of Mormons, it says you have to eat it sparingly, or if you ask Mormons, they'll say, yeah, we're just not following it. But you can see that when I was going to my university, it was very strange for me coming from India, because Saturday evening, the buses would stop. The buses would not run at all. This is the city bus that's running, right? So Saturday evening, all the way till Sunday evening, there would be no buses that were running in the town, because they would observe Sabbath on Saturday evening all the way till Sunday. No work, right? When I moved to, of course, this was a university town, not even like 90 miles north of Salt Lake. The university was the only thing there you could see. You could say, okay, the church still had lots of control over how people ran, because people wouldn't work. Who are you going to drive the bus with? The buses would still be there. The government still has the bus. The people are not willing to work. So the people who they are electing are also following the same principles, right? So they can write legislations to basically support what their idea of dharma is, living is. This is one thing that we can definitely do to change things. If there is a critical mass of people who are devotees in a particular area, then your councilman can be a devotee, your mayor could be a devotee, right? Even your governor could be a devotee, your state legislatures could be devotees, and you could write the things that Prabhupada is saying into law. It's perfectly legitimate, it's perfectly legal. Okay, this is Logan, which is a very, very tiny town, just the university town. There is nothing else. The university is the biggest employer, right? Okay, so then I moved to Salt Lake City after I finished my studies and then got a job there. It's a big town, relatively big town, I would say, not as big as Dallas, but it's again a very liberal, like all cities, it's a very liberal city, right? But it's like the Vatican of the Mormons. They have their big temples there. Every 6 months, people will come and congregate there, and they'll have these big meetings and whatnot. And the church owns so much property. The biggest malls in Salt Lake City would be closed on Sundays. Can you imagine how much revenue they're losing by closing the biggest mall on a Sunday? Still, we don't care about it, because the principles are more important than economy, right? The economy will automatically follow, because money is Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is always with Narayan, Prabhupada says, right? We should always engage money in the service of Narayan. So this was amazing for me, to see it, that okay, there is definitely separation of church and state in America, but there are still ways in which you could legally do the right things. I'm not saying the state of Utah is perfect or something, but there are certain things that I saw that that was amazing there. I don't think there is any other place in America where it's as strong as that, because it's completely populated with a particular set of people who follow a particular set of ideology, and hence the elected officials are also coming that way. So if Dallas is populated completely with devotees, then there is a possibility also that we could actually implement certain things. And even not just fasting, right? Prabhupada talks about fasting in the previous verse. I remember the Brazilian Congress, I think a couple of years back, turned vegetarian once a week or something like that. Vegetarian Mondays or something like that. This was legally constituted. Like, we're not going to serve meat in this premise. If you want, you can go and have it outside. There was big hue and cry about it, that how can you do this and whatnot. But this was not for any religious purpose. This was at least the vegan movement that was gaining momentum, and they're recognizing that the harm that we're doing to all these animals, and it is proper for us to at least abstain for one day. It makes so much of a difference. So like this, in different parts of the world, changes can happen if there is a critical mass of people that can come together and do this. So this is very important on our part, at least, to propagate this movement, right? That if we can make sure that Mahaprabhu's message is going out to every, which is going to happen, right? Prithivete achayadi nagaradi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe moranam. That Mahaprabhu's message is going to go to every town and village, whether we like it or not, because Mahaprabhu himself said it. But we have an opportunity here to participate in that prophecy. And when that happens, then there is definitely a possibility of implementing everything that Prabhupada is asking us to, giving suggestions of how you could do it. And talking about gold here, right? It's the entire verse is talking about a very negative connotation of gold, very negative connotation of gold, which is true, because when we use money, wealth, not in the service of Krishna, then all these qualities start creeping in. Falsity, intoxication, lust, because I'm doing something for myself, right? Then, especially money, you see this throughout Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. The Hiranya means gold, right? Aksha means he was always viewing things from the point of wealth. Where can I dig more wealth? He dug so much gold out of the earth that there was imbalance and the earth fell into the Garbha ocean. Then Varahadev had to come and lift Mother Earth. Same with Hiranyakashipu. And even with Ravana, they say when Hanuman was flying over Lanka, he saw the city of gold, right? It was literally the city of gold. And this causes, we see that this incredible amount of wealth causes this lust also. In the case of Nalakuvara and Manigriva, they were the sons of the Kuvera, who is in charge of treasury of the entire universe. So much opulence and wealth there that they were so intoxicated with it that they didn't even see Narada Muni coming there and standing naked. He had to give him his mercy, and then Krishna, they actually got darshan of Krishna actually. But we see throughout the history, and even right now, the times that we live in, how money can be corrupting. This is the problem, right? Prabhupada says, if when there is actual gold currency in the form of coins, the influence of gold in producing falsity, prostitution will automatically cease. There will be no need of an anti-corruption ministry. We have this. In every single government, we have an anti-corruption ministry, which in itself, we might not be very sure that they are very proper. The anti-corruption ministry in itself might be corrupt in most places. So this is the problem, that gold, we have seen from time immemorial, has caused this, or wealth has caused this. So it is very, very imperative upon us to know how to handle it. Because as grihasthas, we are constantly in touch with wealth and money. And unless we start engaging this wealth and money in Krishna's service, because this is why for grihasthas it is very important to give in charity, not keep hoarding this money ourselves. Then when we start hoarding money and not engaging it in the service of Krishna, then it becomes problematic. We start creating these tendencies of lust and envy, and then even little things start creating enmity, and it is very problematic. And we should know that this is what is a proper use, right? Rupa Goswami gives this division of 50, 25, 25. 50% you use for your own, 25% use it for devotees, and 25% use it for charity. Give it in the service of Krishna. Okay, in the times that we live in, the currency is so inflated. It's not 500 years back where Rupa Goswami had boats of gold coins. Right? They were literally having gold coins even 500 years back. You see how things have changed? In 500 years, it's been devalued so much. But at least in few verses back, Prabhupada talks about how we should at least give some % of our accumulated money. Accumulated money means, okay, we have so many expenses, we have to take care of our family, so much of our needs. We spend everything and there is some accumulation of money that we have after we've spent everything, right? Okay, we should at least give some part of that accumulated money towards the service of Krishna. Then this tendency to hoard can be dovetailed in the service of Krishna, and then that is the proper use of money. And this gold, we should not have too much attachment to. But there is another type of gold that we can have complete attachment to, that will actually liberate us completely. Right? We spoke, Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya. This is Radharani's appearance day this Saturday. This is Radhashtami. And she is the color, complexion of a molten gold. If we have attachment to that, to Srimati Radharani, that is the perfect attachment, right, of attachment to gold. And Krishna and Radharani combine themselves to come again 500 years back as the golden avatar of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Radha Krishna Pranay Vrikriti Ladini Shakti Asmat Ekatmanam Apibhupura Deha Bedam Gatautau Chaitanyakyam Praktamaduna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhava Dviti Suvalitam Navami Krishna Swarupam. That Radha and Krishna initially were one, and then they separated themselves for their pastimes, for their enjoyment. And now they've combined together again. And how? Radha Bhava Dviti Suvalitam Navami Krishna Swarupam. That Krishna has taken the bhava of Srimati Radharani and the complexion of Srimati Radharani and come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself to give this love of Krishna to all of us, irrespective of what our qualifications are. Right? That if we have attachment to Mahaprabhu, that gold has unlimited value. It never depreciates. You can never depreciate that attachment that you have in the attachment to Srimati Radharani and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And the perfect way for us to approach Srimati Radharani is through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because it is Krishna who has come in the form of Srimati Radharani teaching us how to become a devotee of Krishna, be a proper devotee of Krishna. So that's what I was thinking. There's so much gold in this material world is very problematic. But if we have the same attachment, when we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can remember gold. It's very Ajanu Lambita Budau Bujau Kanakavadato, right? He has long hands like that reach up to his knees. And Kanakavadato, he's the color of molten gold. Sankirtanaika Pitarau Kamalaya Dakshau. He is the father of the Sankirtan movement, the originator of the Sankirtan movement. Sankirtanaika Pitarau Kamalaya Dakshau. He has beautiful lotus eyes. Vishwambarau Dijavarau Yuga Dharma Palau. Right? Vishwambarau, he is the maintainer of the entire world. How is he the maintainer of the entire world? Chaitanya Charitamrita Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, through his love he maintains the entire world. Not as a matter of duty, he maintains the world, right? Because all of us are very dear to Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Vishwambar, the one who maintains the entire universe, right? And how does he maintain? He maintains through his love. And Dvijavara, he is the best among the Brahmanas. And Yuga Dharma Palav, he's come to protect the Yuga Dharma, which is the Sankirtan movement, chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Vande Jagat Priyakarau Karunavatarau. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is loved by everybody else. Vande Jagat Priyakarau. There is nobody. Okay, Lord Ramachandra, they might say something. Oh, some people will not like it. Lord Krishna, some people might say something else. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody loves. Once they know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everybody loves Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Karunavatarau, he is the most merciful incarnation, most munificent incarnation. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? He is the golden avatar. And we can take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then make our life successful, whereby all these qualities can vanish from our hearts. Falsity. Because this is one of the imperfections that we have in this material world, right? We have the propensity to cheat. Among the four, we are in illusion, we have imperfect senses, we have the tendency to make mistakes, one of which is we have the propensity to cheat. And that is what is the final leg that Dharma is standing on, truthfulness. If we even break that, then it will be a complete collapse of the entire, which is what will happen as Kali Yuga progresses, right? It's even like 5,000 years from Kali Yuga, it's barely hobbling. So if we are so much attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then this wealth will not so much affect us. The actual material gold will not so much affect us, right? That we see that in the life of Srila Prabhupada, where he was so poor for the first 12, 15 years, 12, 13 years after he took sannyas, right? He would walk all the way from Vrindavan to Delhi so that he could save a few pennies and he could print using that money. When Prabhupada came to America, he had 40 rupees or something like that. And practically it was in rupees, so he couldn't use that much also here. So practically he came with no money to America. But then, when Krishna sees that we can handle money, he gave Prabhupada so much money, right? So our idea should not be going after money. Money will come when Krishna recognizes that we can actually engage it properly in Krishna's service. This is the point. There is this letter that Tamal Krishna Maharaj wrote Srila Prabhupada, right? He was going and distributing books. First day, I think he was getting $12, and second day he was giving more back to Godhead magazines. But in a week, he was getting like $40 or $50 or something like that, which was good money at that time. He wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada saying, Prabhupada, this is what's happening. We're getting more money and more money and more money. And Prabhupada wrote a letter back to him and said, oh, that we should not worry about, because if Krishna wants, he can give us so much money. But do you know what you will do with that money? Krishna right now can give us millions and millions of dollars if he wants to, right? But we have to know how to use that money. And we see that in the case of Srila Prabhupada, where he gave so much money to him that because Prabhupada knew the exact use of money, how to actually engage Lakshmi in the service of Krishna. When we come to that point, then Krishna will profusely give us money because he knows that we will not be affected by it. If we don't engage properly with money, then it's very problematic. We have all these problems that could arise because that's a place where Parikshit Maharaj gave Kali to reside. So we have to be careful with it, especially the Grihasthas, because the other three ashramas don't really deal with money. The Brahmacharyas, they don't even actually care about the money. They need a place to live, some prasad to eat, then they're happy with it. Similarly, the Vanaprasthas and the Sannyasis, they're actively trying to disengage from it. Right? It's the Grihasthas, and it is the duty of the Grihasthas to produce money also, right? Without them, they're the backbone of the society. So it is even more important for the Grihasthas to know how to actually deal with Lakshmi when we have access to it. So those are some of the thoughts I had. If there are any questions or comments, we can take it. Yes. Yes, that's a. Yeah. What's your name, Mataji? Yeah. You're visiting us? Where are you visiting us from? London. Oh, very nice. Welcome to Kalachanji Dham. So, Priya Radha Mataji was. We have devotees who are listening online also, so I'm just going to repeat what you were saying. That if we look at this verse from the principle of Isha Vasyamidam Sarvam, from Ishopanishad, then we recognize that everything actually belongs to Krishna. Then we won't actually have this mentality, which is the actual vision of a devotee, right? That's where we actually have to come to, that we recognize that everything is the property of Krishna. And then the verse also goes on to have another important second part, right? Tena taktena bunjinda magrida kasya shuddhanam. That all of us are given a quota. We can try and try and try and try, but all of us have a quota. So we won't get less than that, we're not going to get more than that. So we should be happy with what our quota is, knowing very well who everything belongs to, right? Then we are actually cheating. We are trying to steal things from Krishna. That's a very nice point. Thank you. Okay, we'll stop here then. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Oh, I'm Srinath Krishnadas. Srila Prabhupada.
Dasamati Nandana Brajabada Nagara Gokula Ranjana Kana Ramati Nandana Brajavana Nagara Gokula Sanjana Dasamati Nandana Brajavana Nagara Gokula Sanjana Gopi Parana Dhana Magana Manahara Kaliya Damana Vidhana Gopi Parana Dhana Madana Manahara Kaliya Damana Vidhana Dasamati Nandana Brajavana Nagara Dasamati Nandana ब्रजवरनागर गोपीपनधन परानधन मदन मनहर कालिय दमन विधान समति नंदन ब्रजवरनागर अमर हरि नाम अम्य विलासा विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नागर मन मंकी मदन सुभाषा अमर हरि नाम अम्य विलासा विपिन पुरंदर नवीन नगर बर वंशी मदन सुभाषा दशमति नंदन ब्रजवरनागर गोकुल रंजन दशमति नंदन ब्रजवन जन पालन असुरनाशन नंद को धन रखवाला जन पालन असुरनाशन नंद को धन रखवाला गोविंद माधव नवनीत दर्शनम गोविंद माधव नवनीत दर्शनम नंद गोपाला गोविंद माधव नवनीत दर्शनम गोविंद माधव नवनीत दर्शनम नंद गोपाला दशमति नंदन ब्रजवरनागर दशमति नंदन ब्रजवरनागर गोकुल रंजन दशमति नंदन ब्रजवरनागर गोकुल रंजन राम नटत चरा जामुन तट चरा गोपी वसन हरा दास रसिक कृपम चरा गोपी बसन हरा रास रसिक कृपा श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन रस श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन रस भक्ति विनोद जसोयम श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन रस श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन रस भक्ति विनोद जसोयम रसमति नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन रसमति नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन गोपी परानंदन मदन मनोहर कालिय गमन विधान गोपी परानंदन मदन मनोहर कालिय गमन विधान रसमति नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन रसमति नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन वचन हरा रास रसिक कृपा रामुन तट चला गोपी वचन हरा रास रसिक कृपा श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन रस श्री राधा वल्लभ वृंदावन रस भक्ति विनोद जसोयम श्री राधा वल्लभ मननत भक्ति विनोद जसोयम समति नंदन ब्रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन रसमति नंदन जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय वृंदावन गोविंद लीला मदन जय राधे जय कृष्ण Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Dina Madama Shri Govinda Gopina Madama Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopina Kalinda Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahamani Ramapuna Radha Kunda Gigi Govardhan Kalinda Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahamani Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopina Madana Mohan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopina Madana Viradvam Srimatam Dada Sakhanam Yashidhadvam Srimatam Dada Sakhanam Jaha Jaha Leela Koila Srinanda Nanda Yashidhadvam Somanudaya Kritika Sundari.
The following is a class on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 25th Chapter, text number 16, given by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, recorded on November 16th, 1974, in Bombay, India.
When one is completely cleansed of the impurities of lust and greed produced from false identification of the body as I and bodily possessions as mine, one's mind becomes purified. In that pure state, he transcends the stage of so-called material happiness and distress.
Aham mamabhimanatthai kamalobhadivimmalai vitang jada manasuddham adukham asukham samam. In the previous verse, it has been advised, Guneshu Saktang Bandhaya Ratang Vapunsi Muktai. The process is the mind has to be cleansed of all dirty things. Mind is a friend, mind is the enemy of everyone. If it is cleansed, then it is friends. And if it is dirty, just like if you keep yourself unclean, then you contaminate some disease. And if you keep yourself clean, then you don't contaminate. If you take action, remaining. Therefore, according to Vedic civilization, one has to cleanse himself 3 times a day. Trisandha, morning, early in the morning, again at noon, again in the evening. Those who are strictly following the Brahminical rules and regulations, Vaishnava also, Vaishnava means he is already Brahmin, he must follow the rules and Sattva, Sama, Dhamma, Titikha, Arjava, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Astikam. So, cleanliness is next to godliness. So, actually, our material conditioned life means the mind is covered with dirt, all unclean, dirty things. That is the disease. When you are in the lower stage of tamagun and rajagun, these dirty things are very much prominent. Therefore, one has to raise himself from the position of tamagun and rajagun to satagun. The process is recommended how to cleanse the mind. Sinnatang sakatha Krishna punna savana kirtana. One has to hear the Krishna katha. Krishna is within everyone's heart, and when he sees that a conditioned soul, because the individual soul is part and parcel of Krishna, Krishna wants that this individual soul, rascal, is so much attached for material enjoyment, which is the cause of his bondage, birth and death, old age and disease. And he is so full that he does not take into consideration that why I should be subjected to repetition of birth, death, old age and disease. He has become so full. Mudha. Therefore they have been described Mudha, ass. Ass, just like ass, does not know why he is loading so much, so many cloths of the washerman man. What for? He has no profit. None of the cloth belong to him. The washerman gives a little morsel of grass, which is available everywhere. But the ass thinks that this morsel of grass is given by the washerman, therefore I must carry the heavy load, although not a single cloth belongs to me. This is called karmis. The karmis, all these big karmis, big multimillionaires, they are just like us, because they are working so hard. Not only this big, small also, day and night, but eating 2 chapatis or 3 chapatis, or at most 4 chapatis. But he is working hard, so hard. These 3-4 chapatis can be had easily even by the poorest man. But why he is working so hard? Because they is thinking I am responsible for maintaining such a big family. Similarly, a leader also, public leader, a politician, he is also thinking like that without me, all the members of my nation will die. So let me work day and night up to the point of my death, or up to the point until I am killed by somebody, I have to work so hard. These are called dirty things. Ahangamameti. Ahangamameti. Ahangamame mamabhimanathai. These dirty things that take individual, social, political, communal, or national, anyway, these 2 things, ahangamameti is very prominent. I belong to this family, I belong to this nation, I belong to such and such community, I have got such and such duty. But he does not know these are all false designations. That is called ignorance. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore begins his instruction that Jiver Sarup hoy Nitya Krishna Das. The actual position is that eternal servant of Krishna. That is the actual position. But he is thinking, I am servant of this family, I am servant of this nation, I am servant of this community, servant of so many. Ahangamameti. This is due to ignorance, the mode of tamogun. Tamo. Therefore in the previous verse it is said, Guneshu saktang bandhaya. So long you will be attached with this guneshu. Even you will be attached to the satogun, that is also bandhaya. Suppose satogun means exhibit, the symbolic presentation is perfect Brahman. So even if we are very perfect Brahman, so I think that I am such a learned person, I understand the Vedic principles, the same ahangamamiti, the same principle ahangamamiti. But if you are raised in the satogun, then there is chance of understanding your position. In the tamagun and rajagun, you cannot. Tamagun, rajagun, you remain like animal, like cats and dogs. But when you come to the platform of satogun, that you can come by following the principles and then the attachment, guneshu saktang, bandhaya, then your conditioned life, on account of being attached to the material qualities, will be finished. How? Simple thing. Everyone can attain to the platform of Satoguna if he follows the instruction. In the Bhagavad Gita, the same thing is said in different Vedic languages and Vedic scriptures. Satatam kirtantam mam jatantascha dhirabrata namasyantascha mang bhaktya nitya yukta upasati. This is the process. And in another place it is said, Sinnatang sakata Krishna punna sravana kirtana riddantasta avadrani vidhunati suhit satam. The process is that you try to hear about Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is speaking, that is Krishna Katha. And Srimad Bhagavatam about Krishna, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Janmadasya, speaking about Krishna, the original person. So, we have to hear the Krishna Katha. This temple or the center is open to give chance to the people in general. Come and hear Krishna Katha. This satsanga. This is called satsanga. Satang prasangad mama bija sangvida bhavanti ritkarna kasayanaka. If you hear gradually, because we do not hear Krishna Katha on account of dirty things in the heart. So we have to cleanse it. That process is Chetadarpana marjanam parang vijayati Sri Krishna Sankirtan. If we chant and dance, then the dirty things become clean. Chetadarpana marjanam. Cheta khalu assa bandhaya muktaya chatmano matam. Cheta, this heart, is the cause of our bondage, and the heart is the cause of our liberation. When it is dirty, then it is cause of bondage, conditional life. Conditional life means that janma mittu jara vyadhi. I take one birth, one body, and I stay for some time, enjoy or suffer. There is no question of enjoyment, only suffering. And then again I die, tatha dehantara prapti, and I get another body, and again begin another life, maybe a very good life, or maybe cats and dogs life, a tree's life, that we do not know. But dehantara prapti, but there is change of body. As soon as I die, give up this body, another body. Immediately. Immediately I will have to enter the womb of Saturn, mother, through the grace of the father, and I will have to develop another body, and when it is fit for working, I come out and again another chapter of my life begins. This is conditioned life. So, the human life is meant for understanding how we are undergoing this tribulation of birth and death, old age and disease. The cats and dogs, they cannot understand. That is not possible. Therefore, for human life, so many Vedic literatures are. Not for the cats and dogs. If you don't take advantage of this Vedic literature, there is no need of education. It is not needed that one has to become very learned scholar. No. Satsanga, here. Sthane sthita sutigatang tanuvang manovi. You remain in your position, but go to a person who is speaking Krishna Katha hearing, that's all. Everyone can do that. What is the difficulty? So this Krishna consciousness movement is that we give chance to the people to hear about Krishna. That is our main. Therefore we have specifically mentioned Krishna consciousness. We don't talk any other nonsense things. We don't talk. We have no other business. Simply talk of Krishna. That will purify. Sinnathang sakata Krishna. Punna savanakit. Even if you do not understand a single word, if you simply hear, then you become pious. It is so nice. Sinnathang sakata Krishna. Punna savanakit. Savana means when there is talks of Krishna, somebody is hearing and somebody is talking. Savana and Kirtan, just like here in this meeting. I am talking, you are hearing. Both of us are being benefited. Savana Kirtan. Sunnatang Sakata Krishna. Krishna wants this. That these rascals may begin to hear and chant about me. That's all. Satatang Kirtan Tang Mom. Mom, Krishna. Not others. Don't talk politics. Don't talk sociology or this or that nonsense. This is all dirty things. Don't waste your time. There is no use of reading so many rascal novels. They are called Tad Bayasa Tirtham, Tad Bhaga Visarga Janataka Viplava, Natad Bachas Chitta Padang Harer Jasa. Any literature which does not glorify the Supreme Lord Hari, that is Bayasatirtham. Bayasatirtham means the place where the crows enjoy. Bayasatirtham. So, this Krishna consciousness movement is giving chance people to become pious. Punna Savana Kirtana. How? I have no money, how can I become pious? I cannot give in charity, I cannot go to take bath in the Ganges, and so many there are pious activities. Tapasa brahmacharjena, tyagena, jamena, niyamena, there are so many processes to become pious. In the Shastra there are recommendations, you do this to become pious. So, in this Kali Yuga, people have lost all stamina. How to become pious? They are so sinful. But here is the only means. You simply come here and hear about Krishna. You have got ears, Krishna has given you ears, and Krishna has given you tongue also. You can speak just like we are reciting the verses. So, the tongue is there, the ear is here, there, and you can hear from realized soul and make your life perfect simply by hearing. Sinnatang Sakata Krishna Punna Savana Kirtan. Because one cannot be devotee unless he is purified. A sinful man cannot become a devotee. Duskritin. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Navang duskritina mudha. One class of man, duskritina, always committing sinful life. Such rascals, such foolish men, duskritina mudha. Navang duskritina mudha prapadyante naradhama. Naradhama means lowest of the mankind. Why lowest of the mankind? Because the human life is meant for purifying your existence. You are under condition of birth, death, old age, and here is the chance to purify yourself. If you don't do that, then you are mudha, duskritina, naradhama. Don't take chance. Mudha, naradhama. So this class of men, they are not interested. They will suffer this material existence continually, one after another, one after another. Bhutya bhutta praliyate. One life, and if he gets one life, very opulent, then he doesn't care for what is next life. Let me drink and enjoy, eat, drink and be merry. This is going on all over the world. But Shastra says, no, it is not good. You are doing mistake. You are doing mistake. Nunang pramatta kurute bikarma. You have become mad and you are engaged in doing all forbidden things which you should not do. You are doing that. And why you are doing that? Nunang pramatta kurute bikarma. Karma, bikarma, akarma. Karma means regulated principle work. And bikarma means just the opposite. Unlawful activities. That is called bikarma. And akarma means you can work, but you are not affected by the result. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Jagyarthe karmannatra lokayam karma bandhana. If you act for Krishna, for Jagga, then you are not affected. Good or bad result, neutral. So, generally people, they act because they are in the tamagun, rajagun, they don't care for future life and they are habituated to do anything, they eat anything, just like hog, even stool. They do not care for shastric injunction, irresponsible, just like street boy, he has no education, he doesn't care for anything, whatever he likes he does, the father, mother does not take care. So, life in tamagun or rajagun is that carelessness. So, such person simply acts unlawfully. Nunang pramatta kurute bikarma. Why? Just indriya pritaya aprinoti, simply for sense gratification. Simply for sense gratification. I have seen one hotel man in Calcutta, he cut the throat of a chicken and the chicken half cut. It was flapping and jumping. The child of the hotel man, he was crying. And the hotel man was laughing. He was taking pleasure. How this chicken half cut throat and how he is jumping. And why you are crying? Why you are crying? And in Western countries, I think, the students are sometimes taken to slaughterhouse to see. Is it a fact? They take pleasure. Doing something sinful, they take pleasure. For pleasure's sake, they do that. Nunang pramatta kurute bikarma. Just indriya pritaya, simply for the matter of sense gratification. So, Shastra says, no, this is not good. This is not good. Nasadhuvayam, jato atmanayam, asannapi klesade asade. Oh. But they have no brain. This body is temporary, but it is full of suffering. Although it is temporary, one can say, this body is temporary, so what do I care for? But it is painful, we have to suffer. Nunang pramatta kurite vikarma jad indriya pritaya aprinoti nasadu manne jato atmanoyam asannapi klesada. They have no brain that this material body is klesada, is simply miserable. That's it. So dull brain. That is tamagun. Tamagun means completely darkness. Just like animals. You take one animal, you cut its throat, another animal is standing and eating grass. He does not know the next turn is mine. This is animal life. So people have become, especially in this Kali Yuga, mandas mandamatayo mandabhagya jupadduta. But this Krishna consciousness movement is trying to give this rascal little sense that don't remain animal, become human being. This is the propaganda. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Krishna bhuliya jeev anadi bohinmo athay maya tare jay sangsaradi duk. Krishna bhuliya, forgetting his relationship with Krishna, one is simply acting foolishly, and the Maya is giving him miseries, one after another, one after another, one after another. Another place it is said that Anadi Bohinmukh Jeev Krishna bhuli gela Ataev Krishna Veda Purana Korila. We have forgotten Krishna. Therefore, there are Vedas and Puranas and Vedic literature. It is for human being. Vedashta sadvai ahamiva vedam. If we study this Vedic literature means 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, and Vedanta, and Upanishad, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and any literature which is connected with this Vedic literature. That is also Vedic literature. So Veda Puran, this Vedic literature should be utilized. They have got time to read so many nonsense literature, rubbish literature, and waste time. But if you invite them that come here, we shall discuss Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, or Vedanta Sutra, similar literature, nobody will come. Vira Dhira Jana Priya Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Prabhu Premamritam Banidhi Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Priya Karo Nemar Karamu Pujito Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuva Bhara Tarakau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Sri Jiva Gopalakau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Sri Krishna Kirtana Gana Krishna Kirtana Gana Natana Param Prema Metamani Veera Veera Jana Priya Priya Karo Nirma Pujitam Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuva Bharava Antarakau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Sri Jiva Charanai Punipunam Sadharma Samasthapaku Lokanam Hitakarinam Tribhuvane Mandinam Sarana Karo विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं श्री चैतन्य कृपा बरौ लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं करौ विचारणैकनिपुना तद्धर्म संस्थापक लोकानां हितकारिणां त्रिभुवने मन्नं शरणं Radha Krishna Radha Krishna Padarabindau Bhajanamritau Radha Krishna Padarabindau Bhajana Nande Namattalika Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghujugal Siji Krishna Kirtana Dana Natala Parau Prema Manidhi Veera Veera Janapriya Prema Udita Sri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Mara Manta Rakau Bande Rupa Sanatana Rakhidu Vasuda Sadasure Vasuda वासुदेव सुतराज्य लक्ष्मी धन्यश्च आजवदस जगदाद रन्ना मंडलस्यनी सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणे शतो करुणया मंडलपति शनि सदा तुच्छव भूत्वा दीनगणेश करुणया कौपीनकं आस्थितौ गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी गोपी भावरसामृताब्दलहरी कल्लो लमग्नं वन्दे रूप सनातनं रघुजुगौ श्रीजी भगो पालक राधे हे राधे ब्रज देविके च हे नंद सूना कुतः राधे ब्रज देविके च ललिते हे नंद शूनः कुतः श्री गोवर्धन पादपतले कालिंदी वने कुतः राधे ब्रज देविके च ललिते हे नंद शूनः कुतः श्री गोवर्धन पादपतले कालिंदी वने कुतः गोसंतापिति संतापिति सर्वतो ब्रजपुरे खेदई विह्वलौ वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगल श्री गो संतापिति सर्वतो ब्रजपुरे खेदई महाविह्वलौ वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुगल श्री बालक कृष्ण कीर्तन तान नंदन परम प्रेमामृतम धीर धीर जनप्रिय प्रियकर हिमांसरौ पूजित श्री चैतन्य कृपाभर भुवि भुव हरः वहन् तारक वन्दे रूप सनातन रघुयुग and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Vibha Bari Sesa Alaka Pravesa Mitra Chadi Utha Jiva Vibha Bari Sesa Alaka Pravesa Bari Sesam Ala Kapavesam Nidachari Utha Jiva Ala Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Mala Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Haya Jiva Mala Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Haya Jiva Vibha Bari Sesa Nidachari Jiva Vibha Bari Sesa Hari Yutha Jiva Bala Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Bala Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Bala Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Vibha Bari Sesa Premesau Nidachari Jiva
Nrsimha Nrsimha Vamana Sri Madhusudana Nrsimha Vamana Sri Madhusudana Brajananandana Shama Vamana Sri Madhusudana Brajananandana Shama Utana Ghatan Kai Tava Satana Jaya Dasarathi Rama Utana Ghatan Kai Tava Satana Jaya Dasarathi Rama Yashoda Dulala Govinda Go Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandara Gopi Priyajana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Mara Gopi Priyajana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Mara Ravananta Kara Ravananta Kara Makhana Taskana Gopijana Bhattahari Ravananta Kara Gopijana Hari Bradera Rakhala Gopo Brindapala Chittahat Mansidhari Brajanda Rakhala Gopo Brindapala Chittahat Mansidhari Vibhavori Sesa Alaka Pramesa Vibhavori Sesa Yogendra Vandana Vinandanandana Braja Jana Bhaya Hari Yogendra Vandana Vinandanandana Braja Jana Bhaya Hari Yogendra Vandana Vinandanandana Braja Jana Bhaya Hari Navina Nirada Rupa Manahara Navina Nirada Rupa Manahara Mahana Bansi Bihari